I am. I'm 100% going through. Okay, I just have it labeled differently. All right, so Moose talk.
Hello.
All right,
Do
all
I
right.
keep
There's Moose.
talking?
Yeah. Keep talking.
All right, I'm gonna keep talking. Moose is still here. Moose is still talking. I'm just gonna keep on talking until you tell me not to talk.
Okay, stop talking. M talk.
Oh my god. Okay, Em is now talking, and I'm continuing the bit from Moose, who was talking earlier, and Em is also going to continue talking until they get cut off by
I feel like
Frosty,
you're.
which is
I feel like you're
continuing
lower.
to
I feel like
go.
you're like.
Oh no.
I think you're a little bit lower. I don't know if it's just because you're not excited right now.
I am.
But
What the heck?
oh, okay, yeah. See, that's perfect. That's perfect.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
you want me to project like I'm in theater. I understand. I'm
Yeah,
now
it's
giving
good.
a speech at a forum.
Yeah. All right. Jett, go real quick.
Hi, this is Jett. I see that we're color coded for this show. We have blue, blue, black, blue. So
Yeah?
it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Good to
What?
be here.
Okay.
Is
Am
it
I
good? Do you need me to keep talking?
I don't know. I feel like chat can tell us how everyone's a little bit low compared to me. So maybe I just need to turn myself down, and that's going to be the right call. So yeah, let me just turn myself down, and then people can kind of let me know if that sounds a little bit better. Here, I'm going to turn it down right there. All right, now let's do. This is Frosty now. Okay. I feel like it's low though. I feel like I'm.
Did
We
you
turn
change anything from the last time?
No, not really. Okay, let's do this again. M.
Oh, I am back to speaking. I hope that I am audible. I am ready to present a seminar. I hope that everyone brought notepads. Do I need to shout, or are we good with where this is at?
I don't know. I feel like you should go up a little bit more. A little bit more. Do you have a up volume on your side?
Not with the way that we're currently doing the audio production anymore, because of the way that this pulls mic data.
Okay. I feel like
I
we're
can
gonna
get
be okay.
closer to the
I
microphone.
Yeah, that's
We're
great.
doing
Sure.
ASMR tonight.
Oh my god,
Okay.
you
All right.
don't want ASMR from me.
Okay. We don't need to talk about Tyrant. Moose. Boost talk.
I was typing stuff. Do I have to like? I guess I can stop typing and start talking because I can't imagine that the typing's gonna be enough. I can't imagine that you're gonna be able to tell from the taka whether I'm in the right zone. So I'm just gonna keep talking until you tell me not to talk. Talking right now. Talking a minute from now. Talking until I'm told to stop talking. I haven't
Okay.
been told to stop talking yet, which is
Yeah, all right, you can stop talking.
Hey.
All right, fuck it. I'm just gonna turn you guys up in OBS. Let's add about six here. All right, M, go again.
Hello, I am speaking. I am very pointedly not talking about Tyrant beyond this point. This is a note
Okay.
that I am swearing because chat seems to be worried.
Okay, Moose.
What am I doing? I wasn't paying attention. I am talking.
Yeah, okay,
I think
you're
I'm
good, you're
talking.
I feel
Okay.
like audio's balanced now. I feel like we've hit it. Chat can confirm, but I'm pretty sure we knocked that out of the park, and we're like badass at the moment with what we just did. Yeah, I got it. All right, I'm gonna mute us again. Turn up the music, and we'll start here in just a second. Welcome everybody to MogTalk. If you guys are unfamiliar with MogTalk, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community discussing everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing. And today we are diving into one of the topics I love the most, even though it's not my best topic. It's lore and story within Final Fantasy XIV. Today is May 16th, 2026, and I have some amazing guests on to talk about this. So let's go ahead and bring them on one by one here. I believe I have the right order. I'm going to bring you on to do your intro right now. See if it works. Yeah, hey,
Hello! I'm happy to be back. This is a new fun format, dude. I love it.
Yeah. So tell everybody who you are really quick.
Oh, man. I'm cosplayer, raider, lore aficionado, enjoyer of many Final Fantasy titles. Yeah, I do a lot of things. You've probably seen me roast Frosty during raid before.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm fried chicken.
like fried chicken.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy to talk about lore again. I'm stoked to be back, and I'm sure that everyone here is gonna give me what for, because Asians are back, and you know that's still my favorite thing.
Which reminds me, hey Moose, can you tell everybody who you are?
I suppose I could try. Let's see. Moose of a million names. I go by Onwell, Anani Moose, Moosifer Loring Star. Moose is fine. Don't worry about it. I've been playing since the very start of 1.0. My big thing was I tried to get into archiving, interpreting whatever the game said, what it didn't say, what it might have meant by that, what possibilities are on and off the table. And over time, it just kind of snowballed. Lore tracking led to lore summaries. Lore summaries led to lore interviews. There was press stuff, even doing a little bit of light quality assurance work on 2 of the encyclopedias. And now the game's just so big, I remember maybe more where the information is than what it is, where to find it. But we'll see if I'm underprepared or overprepared for today.
Okay. And next, I have Jett returning again to help us with this show. Jett, tell everybody who you are.
Well, like I said the last week, I'm the MogTalk intern. I have a podcast of 14 in general with quick digesting streams. I do a bit of PvP commentary, but for specifically this podcast, I need to tell you that I study literature for college, so I guess that's why I'm here.
Man,
oh no!
All of you guys are so much louder than how you are in testing. You messed up everything. Okay, it's fine. I'm just going to remove the increases that I did to the volumes here. And chat, no, it was me. I actually, I have no clue why. I feel like I didn't do anything wrong, but I'm going to reduce your volumes just a little bit so it's not blowing everybody away.
Who knows?
Who knows? Whatever. Guys, keep me up to date if the volume gets really, really wonky. But this is a show I've been excited for ever since FanFest, because that was a crazy little FanFest to see. And, you know, I have a lot of thoughts and comments that I don't want to just blurt out there and make myself look stupid immediately. I figured the best way to handle this, because a lot of stuff that was mentioned in the FanFest keynote relates to the 7.5 stuff that we just went through recently. We know from that keynote we're going to this cold, icy area. The fourth, is what we're thinking, right? I remember that part.
Good job.
Okay.
Fourth sounds right.
Okay. All right. Cool. And so we're gonna go there. And the story, they gave us a little bit of a spoiler with all that information. The story that we just had in 7.5 is kind of that connection to why we're going there. But before I start, how are you guys feeling about what we've seen in the last couple of weeks from FanFest and 7.5? Are you excited for any of this?
Unexpectedly so.
Oh, okay. Unexpectedly so. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah. I am probably like the token time travel shard jumper hater of my group. Like I just want to hang out on the source. I just want to see the world that I live on and fight for. There's so much stuff we haven't seen. So I expected like if we were going to be shard jumping, it was going to drive me crazy. But then once the trailer started and they started talking about the world, it was just beautiful. The art direction is nailing it, and we're seeing like a vibe we haven't seen in a while. It's a little lower fantasy. It's inspired by some stuff we've only touched on lightly and kind of merged in some other stuff in the past. And I love the art direction, which means that I will absolutely be down for shard jumping maybe this one time.
Just because of the art.
Yeah,
Okay.
what can I say? It's good art. I like lower fantasy stuff. I like when there's a lot of like magic involved. It was, I mean,
Okay.
I won't lie. Solution 9 was kind of moose bait, but I am really into the fourth's aesthetic so far. I think the art team is killing it.
Okay. Em, how are you feeling?
I am nothing less than stoked. I mean, you saw me briefly after the keynote at FanFest, and I was vibrating entirely out of my skin, basically. My excitement is I love all things Final Fantasy. I love doing shard physics. That's my favorite thing, even if I get concerned about story implications because I don't like the time travel thing. I'm a hybrid of Moose and I guess the general fan base. But I am Danish, and the Nordic inspiration being like very apparent right from the get-go, especially with some of the themes that we've already been setting up in 7.5 specifically. I am nothing less than stoked about where we're headed narratively. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Okay. All right, Jett.
Yeah, I'm very excited too. I just like Moose. I love the art, but what I love more is the. I don't want to dwell too much right now because it's too early in the podcast. But the references to the other Final Fantasies that they have immediately, like super fast. Like for me, it's very interesting to see that the next expansion is not like we just have a specific Final Fantasy expansion. Last time it was
Right.
9. It was a screaming 9 immediately, and this time we have, at least from my perspective, 10, 13, and a bit of 16 for the next expansion, and it's like it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, I gotta say, looking at this, I got really excited when I actually saw the trailer and everything. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a nice place that we could go chill, and it's, on brand for me. I don't know what to tell you. It's nice to have an expansion again, completely on brand with Frosty. I'm looking forward to what I can do with that and how annoying I can be. So outside of that, I don't get a lot of snow where I'm at. So I always get excited when I see snow areas and stuff. Although we're not going to really see a lot, right? We're going to be in the sky for like half the time. Is that the deal?
That's the bait,
Debatable.
at least. Yeah, because it's always the red herring, especially because they discuss that so much, like, immediately after. It's like, oh, it's Evercold. Where's all the snow? I'm like, well, is it going to happen because we're there? Or is this just, oh, that was thousands of years ago and everything's fine now? Like, who knows?
Yoshi P made it sound like there could almost be like a Light Warden situation where you're driving the ice away
Yeah.
in some respects. So I don't know what to expect.
Okay. I'm gonna be really mad if we have like one snow area. We're just like, all right, yeah, cool. It is the fourth, and the idea has been destroyed by frost, right? I'm assuming it's the same deal. Like when we went to the first, it's destroyed by light. We see the effects of that. And the idea is we should see all the frost underground, and we're like Skyward Sword kind of situation. Everybody's up in the sky, and then you got a chocobo and you fly down to the ground when you need to. I feel like that might work out.
I've never played Skyward Sword, so I'll defer to anyone else on this call for that.
Okay.
Here's a question: Did Heavensward have enough ice for you?
Really, how many zones did they have with ice? It was like one? Because I remember
There's
one
a
at the
few.
starter zone, but then what's the other one?
It depends on whether you count like the time we spent in the Kurthus we already had.
No. Yeah, we had one zone. And I guess we had Ishgard counted as a snowy area. That's right. Chat's right on that too. Uh, I feel like we need half of them to be snowy. All right, different versions of it. Okay, you have a fluffy snow area, then you have an ice fortress area, then you have like a just permafrost forest, snow topped area.
Got
Then
my
go ahead.
I've got my PowerPoint open,
Oh, okay.
and I'm like going through all the pictures. I don't think it's time for the PowerPoint yet. Like maybe that's like after FanFest 2 we'll go.
I mean, you could whatever picture you want me to show on screen, just send it over to me if you want to, and okay.
I'm taking an inventory and of the stuff we had. I'm not seeing a lot of snow yet.
Well, it's also something to consider that most of the art that we have isn't really like regional, it's civilization based. Maybe they just have incredible infrastructure and they keep snow out of their pathways at any given point in time, right? Like maybe their farmland is heated. Like truly, it could just be, okay, we keep our lawns clean, and then you step outside the city walls and it's 8-foot snow drifts. That's a possibility too.
Yeah, I guess. Go ahead.
I'm gonna put a bit of fear on M's heart and remind everyone about like the very first lines of the trailer about the traveler and how before, like she's telling the story about how before things were and the ice came and then the people live in the city, but they don't necessarily mean that they are living above in the sky right now, or that is happening for us right now. So it could be time travel. We might just go back and forth between the ice era and the new era. Could be
It's
a thing.
also the way that that story is being told. It's clearly something that happened in the past to the point that it's become a legend that's a bedtime story, right? This could be on the 4th, hundreds of years in the future after we've done our thing on the 4th. So it could be that this era of ice has not happened yet, but immediately becomes a narrative catalyst at the start of the expansion. And the story being told isn't historical data as we would approach it from an anthropological perspective, diving into the lore at this point. It could be a hint of, yeah, there will be an apocalypse. You are not going to be able to stop it. Something will continue. Are they even still here? Or it could be that that was ages ago, like the way that we experience calamities, and it's now a threat that is reigniting. We simply don't know enough yet, but I love thinking about the difference in perspective of time from the opening of telling a story. It was very Dark Souls-esque for me. Like, it felt like it could have been the opening to a From Software game.
Yeah. Do you think that we're going to send Thancred in 5 years early?
He can be 5 years late this time and catch up.
Okay.
We should send the twins.
So yeah.
For their age up.
Yeah, it's the age up. We sent the twins. They came up 10 minutes later or time, but they are already 30 or something. It's great.
The ambiguity in the phrasing is actually what got me. If you like kind of go through each language of the trailer and listen to what's being said, you can tell that there's parts of it that we don't have yet. And by the time we get to the third trailer, some of those lines could mean different things or exist in a different context. Like, for all we know, like, there's two separate instances of, like, that's when they arrived in the trailer. And it could be that there's more than one arrival. It could be that there's more than one, historical wanderer. It could be that, one of them is talking about the first arrival of the Colossi and what brought all of this on. And the other one is a much later arrival. And I feel like I'm not going to have a good grasp on it until we understand, like you were saying, if there's time oscillation in play, if there's time travel in play.
I mean, when they did that with the first, I mean, they kind of like, they were saying that we were aligning at some point, and that's when the times were okay for the travel. Like, are we expecting, like, seriously, do we expect that to be for every single shard, or is just for some reason the first was the only one that did that?
So what was going on with the first is that we actually interacted with their dimension at multiple times in the storyline. So in 3.4 is when we sent the Warriors of Darkness back, right?
Yeah.
So what happened was they needed 100 years of civilizational development so that we had something cool to go to on the first when we got there. So that's, I think, why they invented that oscillation lore, to create that larger gap that by the time we got there, there was a whole new status quo, a whole world to explore on the other side. And now that they have that oscillation lore, we use it pretty frequently. We used it with the 30 years of Solution 9 teleporting in. So they could very well end up using that lore again here.
Oh my gosh.
This-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say this leads kind of into some of the stuff from 7.5 that's incredibly relevant, because the connection between shards was basically being held stable by outside forces. Naturally, they shouldn't be existing the way that they are, which is why we get a lot of the physics breaking stuff like the time oscillation and like the overflow of ether with like elemental aspects and stuff like that. We know now, without those stabilizing forces, that's not exactly going to mesh well. So we could see instances of this getting worse or getting better, depending on how we start to solve these problems, right? But I don't know if we wanted to get like immediately into that since we're still in the intro.
Quick production thing for you. You're gonna see the screen change up on the Discord feed for you. Ignore it; it'll go back to normal in a second. I just have to use it to prep pictures and stuff. But anyways,
Sure.
just so you know. Okay, yeah. I mean, there's so much to unpack with a lot of what we've seen and where we can go, and that's the whole point of the show today. But there's a lot of stuff with the story I want to talk about because I recently went through it, and there's a lot of things that I'm like, what the hell? You know, it's a lot of those little moments. All right, so the most important aspect of the story right now is 100% the key, right? The key is literally our center focus of the story. And it's funny, when did we get introduced to this again?
Start of Dawn Trail. Yeah.
Start of Dawn Trail? Didn't we have it before or something and not know? No, it was just during. Okay, Start of Dawn Trail. And it's because of Kryle's parents, right?
Yes.
Basic level, yes.
Kind of. That's how we know
They're
that
in
it
there.
came back from
Okay.
the 9th, but it started
Okay.
here and went there
Okay.
during the 5th calamity, which is way before the game.
All right, yeah.
We're already losing him, guys.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I'm going to just let you know, it's tough for me to keep up with this stuff. There's so much lore, and that's why you guys are so important to me. And understanding all of this stuff. And I guess, like, my big question, again, I'm trying to remember the connection we have directly to it because we're really important to this key. Is it technically our key or our shard, our whole person's key, a Sim's key? Is that the idea?
Thinking.
Yeah, that's the understanding. Sorry, the Discord thing changing actually did throw me off.
Just break your brain.
Just
Okay,
a little
good.
bit.
Sorry, all right.
It's okay. The timeline of what we understand of the Dawn Key, like chronologically, because that's easier, is a traveler showed up to the South Sea Isles during the 5th calamity and brought the Milala through to the 9th to save them from the calamity. And then they were there.
Okay.
Up until the point where Kryle's parents sent the key back through the gate with Kryle. And that's kind of where she was picked up and the key came into the possession of Galul Chacha and became the prize for the Rite of Succession, right? So we knew about the Rite of Succession before Dawn Trail, but this chalice that contained the key was the prize that we were introduced to at the start of 7.0. And then Zeraljaw stole it and took it back to the 9th. It just kind of goes back and forth until we get it again. And at that point, because you can already kind of tell right from the get-go that there's a concept crystal inside of it, clearly ancient, right? And it's the tech around it that's letting them use it. Gotcha, that makes sense. For a brief instant, before we fight Sveen, we see it resonate with our constellation crystal, separate crystal, with the symbol of soul, which is Azim's constellation. So it does imply that they had something to do with making it. And then we put it on a shelf until the most recent patch, basically, where we took it out of the housing, and now it's just the crystal outside of the chalice.
Okay. Okay, that all makes sense to me. It's for the most part. So we're the traveler, right?
Now, yes, because it's
Okay.
a seat, right? It's a position that we've kind of inherited because we have Asm Soul that doesn't actually make us Asm, right?
what
But
we're
it's
gonna
like
do-
a biometric lock with a soul.
What we're gonna do in this expansion is go back in time and give the parents the key, right? That's the end of the arc storyline.
I would hate that. I hate that it's possible, but I would actually hate
Okay.
that.
Okay. All right. So the key now, big crazy thing. Now we have a light bridge that we make out of it too, right? By the way, spoilers if anyone's not figured it out. We're gonna have a light bridge that takes us to different places. We don't know how it works. No one else can see it. It's just us. That's the whole thing right now. And we used it to suddenly go to Mars, which is the moon of the 13th, right? Okay. And sorry, everyone who hasn't watched the MogTalk lore episode is getting some real fun stuff right now. Realization about what this is. And so when we went to it, our buddies were just running around on the moon. Zero and why am I blanking? What's his name?
Golbez.
Golbez.
There you go.
They were just running around and they're like, hey man, there's demons here. This sucks, right? What have they been up to? How long has it been? Like a couple of weeks or a couple of months or a couple of years?
Weirdly, we don't seem to talk about oscillation very much with them.
Yeah. What is this? What is our like? Is the 13th not dealing with oscillation? Like,
I guess with
Theoretically,
like
they
the
might be.
lack of ether on that side and kind of the breaking down of the barrier and how close it is with the with the source, we're just not going to talk about it. There's just not a lot of
Okay.
oscillation happening there. Don't worry about it.
I
Okay.
love that the implication of your statement just now, Moose, was lack of ether, lack of time. And I don't like the implication of that.
Okay. So let's. I'm trying to figure out what the other thing here that I was going with that was just really weird because my understanding, because we visited this before in the past, and I'm gonna pull up the image and we're gonna talk about it here a bit. Hopefully it's oh yeah, it's a little bit messed. Let me see if I can fix it a little bit. It's gonna get weird for you guys while I try to fix it a bit.
This has actually been a really fun patch for me because I feel like so many of the things we're
This is good
seeing
enough.
are things that we
Yeah.
talked about on this show.
Yeah. Because we were
Like
like,
I remember
ahead.
when it was I remember when we were talking about like, yeah, maybe the chalice part of the key is just the electro-housing that jailbreaks it. And that swirl inside looks, that the angle of that swirl looks a little familiar, looks a little ancient, and a lot of people were like, no.
I think several years ago, I sent Moose a diagram that looked pretty much exactly like this as well.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, quantum superposition theory of the frequencies of ether was one of the things we were always trying to figure out. Like, is that true or is that just how we see it?
It's also one of those things where our understanding of it is kind of limited by in-universe explanations for it, because up until this point, if Halmerid is telling the truth, not a lot of people knew what was going on, and she's kind of the first person who seems qualified to explain it to us. Even if we see the effects. So, like, we've been talking for years at this point about how the connection between shards is not stable and cannot be, and how they would eventually collapse. And now we are seeing that start to happen in real time and are kind of in a race against the clock to stabilize that one way or another.
Okay, so hold on. I gotta get back to the thing that's bugging me. So this is a picture of what we assume is all the different shards, kind of merged, mirrored, whatever, right? And their phase, whatever they are all in one spot. And the moon is it part of this little blur, or is it like out a bit away from the blur?
See,
and if it's out a
that
bit,
wasn't
why do we have
decided.
Mars? What?
That wasn't decided in 2018 yet, how far out the split goes. So
Okay.
that's why it's kind of vague. Because I think I think this is just my vibe, but I get a vibe off of Square Enix right now that they do not want to confirm anything that is not needing to be confirmed for the story to make sense. So I think there were a few things that were just like, we could make a guess, but if we make the guess and then they decide a better story can be told if that guess goes the other way, then they're just going to do that. So I think that they avoided telling us until now that, yeah, it goes a little bit farther than the moon.
Okay, a little bit further. Like, there's like this
just
orbital
a little further
sphere.
than the moon.
Okay. All right.
There is a connection between the moons, right? Like, that's how we end up on the 13th red moon. This time around, literally in the patch. It's not the first time we've done this. This is a visual from the moon. But it's also important to note that this was just kind of something Halmerit showed us. So it could be that this isn't an actual, like, this is what it looks like if you can see in all of the realms at once. It could just be that this is how she's trying to explain it if she's forcing the view onto us. And maybe she's just, you know, maybe the moon is in the exact same boat and it does look like this, but trying to perceive that while it was happening on the ground you're standing on, I can imagine that would probably be really disorienting and not.
It just looked like a couple of bubbles around you. All right, it just looked like you're just in a whole bunch of bubbles overlapping. You're in a Venn diagram of colors.
Would that help you understand the superposition of shards if you saw a bunch of rainbow bubbles pop up?
It looked crazy, and it would that would equate, right?
The one thing we've really had going for the superposition theory is that once we got into Shadowbringers and we started trying to deal with the topic of, like, there were a couple segments on the first where you were actually talking about the void and how you could connect to the void. And it was dramatically harder to reach the 13th from the first. And it made sense at the time as, like, if there's a quantum superposition where, you know, the first goes this way and the 13th comes in this way and they're kind of stacked 7 each way, then it suddenly makes sense that, like, it's a lot of energy to reach across the entire source dimension to reach the first from the 13th. So that was like the first clue we had that the superposition theory was actually starting to work out.
Okay. And just to be clear, every single shard has its own moon. There's an ice moon out there, a blue moon probably is what we're expecting, and then there's like other moons, like a light moon likely is out there too, right?
So the 13th made it sound like Golbez made it sound like Igyorm set him up a teleporter to the moon so he could kill the version of the Watcher that was there. So I'm gonna go with there probably a moon on each world. Possibly even a Watcher on each world.
And there's different rabbits that are on every moon too, that were sent by Heidelin.
That's a harder one. Okay. I don't know about that one yet.
I mean, maybe I wouldn't say it's outside the realm of possibility because the moon was also kind of Zodiark's prison, right? By Heidelin's design, like the pieces of him. So, you know what? Maybe you're right. I now want to see the moon of every shard.
We're going to go to a moon, and like they're going to do that thing where everything shifts. All the races are different a little bit. Dwarfs kind of for Lalafel's things. And then we go to the moon, and instead of Loporrits, it's literally going to be just the bunnies. And there's just bunnies hopping around, and you can't talk to them.
It's going to be the cats. The cats that they were shown on the trailer, it's going to be those.
Okay, I can see that.
For sure.
I don't want to know what that looks like on the first, man, or on the 13th.
It'd be just
I don't think there are any
fire
right?
bombs. I don't know.
It's
just like an
cats.
empty setup full of like.
Go Boost, go full what?
Oh no! I'm like wandering off into my own thoughts, like, oh god, does that mean like the facilities are still there, but it's full of just like their bone dust from when the flood of darkness came running through? Like, is it just everybody died and turned into void scent, rabbit void scent?
Yeah, that could be it. Demon bunnies, yeah, those actually that's on brand for, you know, what the gaming culture likes is evil bunnies normally. So, anyways, completely different topic. Okay, so superposition theory is kind of in there. Everyone likely has their own weird moon. Okay, we travel with a key now. We got that much part, and that's probably that's the vehicle. That's the shotgun, the Chekhov shotgun, right? Where we're gonna go and we're gonna use it, but then no one else can use it, only us. So are we leaving the Scions behind? Is there a chance that we're gonna go and just make new friends? No, okay.
This is a Final Fantasy game.
They were shown in the trailer inside Evercold.
Like, are we just gonna like hold their hands and they go with us? I guess.
That's one of our open questions. So when
Okay.
we used the key in 7.5, we used it in such a way that no one else noticed it was there. But we already know from two separate directions. We know the Malala speaker was able to bring her people through the portal. And we know that in the trailer, we got Estinian and friends falling out of a similar portal. Now, you don't always have to trust the trailer. I'll probably have some comments on that one. There are sometimes some previews early on, time once and for all to take down the Garlean Empire. Stuff happens. But I'm taking the trailer kind of at its word that they are coming out of the portal.
Okay. All right. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I guess I'm going through all of my thoughts because there's a lot of thoughts that I had and it's kind of scattered. And I'm sorry if I need to stop and go. We need to go back to clarify something or go deeper into it. Feel free to let me know. But why would they throw that Xeno scythe back on the ground again and like as something like, weren't we done? Can't we move on from anything? Can we go forward?
You've all heard me say, please, for the love of God, let stories end, because that's what makes them good. I think Moose's explanation for why the scythe is there is probably my favorite I've seen, so it's the one I'm currently accepting.
Okay, wait a minute. Say that one more time, Moose. What's the theory?
My theory?
Yeah.
My theory is that Helmert is taunting us with it.
Okay, all right.
It kind of disappeared after she threw it down. So I feel like what she's saying is, like, she's just told us about the solstice, and her perspective, whether it's accurate or not, is that if we interfere with her plans, we are going to lead to the solstice. That's her claim. That's her position. So I see her throwing down Xenos' scythe as Halmarit saying to us, hey, do you remember what happened the last time someone was willing to throw the entire world into chaos over a selfish notion to get what they wanted? Don't be that guy. Like, just stay out of my
He had
way.
a cool death.
I like it.
Yeah.
I thought about it differently. I thought my interpretation is more like this is an example of one of the winters that we had in this place, and and didn't work, just like Alex. But the connection would be like every single one of them. It's like a version of you, of the Warrior of Light, and it's obsessed with you somehow. So it's not only I know Xenos is not gonna come back, but we're gonna fight some sort of version of us in the fort and in the other shards that we're gonna end up in the rest of the expansions.
Considering how much of this is about Azem, having other Azems every now and then wouldn't be the craziest thing.
It's
Yeah.
a
Okay.
nice narrative parallel, so I don't think we're meant to take it as, oh, it's Xenos. It's supposed to be, okay, well, what was he to you? He was an obstacle. And regardless of, like, because a lot of different people have different experiences with different characters, but the one objective thing is he kept showing up and challenging you. Like, you can't deny that he was a rival in some way. This is an offer of rivalry, similar but conflicting goals. So I thought it was a really fun, like, glove gauntlet challenge to be thrown down at you in that moment.
Okay. Fair. So we're just saying just for impact in the dialogue between the characters and not actually mean anything that be hints at the story in the future. Okay. I'm with it. I think I can get down with that. I guess the other thing that is like really, and it's been talked about a little bit within the dialogue as well, but it seems so important for us to actually try to understand the Winterers exist, and bringing things together is a good thing. They just want to do it by killing like a handful of people so everybody lives, right? And they're like, whatever, I don't care. I'm fine with killing people if some people exist. That's the Winterers' goal, right?
Kinda.
Sorta.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm connecting this to what we saw in Endwalker. So when we were fighting against the Rejoinings, Our argument was that, right, so what are the Asians saying it's going to do? The Asians are saying that we're going to fix the aberration, we're going to kill everybody on the shards, it's going to rejoin everybody on the first, and then they'll be worthy of sacrificing to bring back Zodiark. And we think that plan sucks, so we're going to try to stop that. But when it came to justifying the Sundering, that was our justification, that life would end otherwise, that without the Sundering, the Endsinger would kill everyone. And isn't it better if life goes on in some form than facing oblivion? And now we've got Halmrit walking up to us and going, so hey, by the way, wouldn't it be better if some life survived instead of the solstice killing everyone? And I think we're supposed to deny that. We're supposed to be like, no, we're going to do this our way. We're going to find a third path. We're going to save everyone. And the hypocrisy of that, I think, is supposed to hit like a little bit.
Okay.
So much of this has been us following in the footsteps of the ancients, but trying to do it in a better way, right? So we got left a list at the end of Endwalker that was, hey, go do this, go figure this out. Okay, we went to the 13th, and instead of completely destroying it, we found a way to maybe try and stabilize it, to bring life back to it, right? In the way that we, through our conflict, have established is what we consider to be life. And then we get to Dawn Trail, and we see the concept of life existing as just memories in a database, and unequivocally decide that's not life. And that's a very difficult kind of moral thing to grapple with. Like, Dawn Trail is really heavy for that, especially if you are someone who is like experiencing grief at the time. I know myself and a few other folks were, right? Like, that hits heavy. But that is also kind of what the Asians were doing when they were doing the rejoinings. They're like, well, this isn't life. We remember what that was like, and we should do it that way. It's the same decision that Vana made with Hydaelyn, what Moose was talking about. Like, life can exist in some way. And now we are being told, hey, life will cease to exist as you understand it if we don't do this awful thing. And the only route left to us, instead of continuing to prevent rejoinings as we have been, because those worlds are no longer stable without guiding forces, we have to find a safe way to do rejoinings. And where the speculation aspect of that comes in for me is I think we're going to be building bridges. Not necessarily literal bridges between the shards, but stabilizing those connections, stabilizing the flow of ether between them, for example, opening up like floodgates of the life stream. I'm using a lot of metaphors here. These aren't things that have like been established in the game, right? I'm just trying to explain it. I think that that's the only route that's left to us, because simply stopping these rejoinings, they're going to be calamitous anyway, because the natural order of things is that this is going to collapse. So please stop me at any point. I feel like I'm...
No, I'm just like, no, it's fine. It's like, we're trying to create shard-bearing structures, all right? Yes. That's how we're going to try to handle it. It makes sense to me. It does feel weird if we went to that whole side, hey, we actually do need to rejoin, but do it in a safe way, which doesn't make any sense, because the assumption is rejoining is like killing somebody, basically, because you're merging them together, right? Because you're like...
I think they want us paranoid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say...
I would have... Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go first, Moose.
Oh, come on. All right, I'll go. So I would have stopped M if M said anything that I thought was like needing expanding upon. I think M's right. I think Square Enix wants you thinking that. I think they want you going into this expansion thinking, what if we have to do the rejoinings? What if we stopped the Asian plan to sacrifice everybody, but we still got to do the rejoining in order to save everybody? And my thing is, I don't believe them. Maybe it's just because we're in kind of the lore bubble of we pay too much attention to stuff, but I don't believe them. I think it would undo so much of what we've done in the past that there has to be a third option. So I think M's absolutely right. I think we're going to be connecting the worlds in some way where they can, through whatever mechanism, transfer that ether and help each other out and kind of balance it out in a way. I feel like in 7.5, Zero was looking directly into the camera and saying, oh, if only the worlds could be a little more connected. If only we could cooperate a little better, like we're doing, the 13th and the 1st. If only everyone could do this a little better. If only we were a little more connected. Wouldn't that be great? Anyway, have a good expansion. Like,
Yeah, they're not
Also-
exactly being subtle about it, truly.
Yeah, also
Yeah.
the phrasing on why this is happening, it's like it's us, the civilization, versus nature, right? It's Alamut is like, oh, this is gonna happen. This is beyond us, versus what we experience in Walker, which it's this force that is judging people, and it's just okay, you are no longer useful. I'm just gonna give you all the despair in the world, and now you're gone, right? This time is allegedly nature, and it's like I don't know. We had that before in general, like it's in human mankind history, right? It's just nature versus mankind. So it has to be a better way to just coexist instead of just a break. Also, from who is coming? Because first is an Asian, and second, she clearly looks for me like a representation of Loki on the Nordic mythology. She's clearly a trickster for me.
Okay.
Look at that.
I'm waiting to be let off my leash very, very patiently. I did have another note before
Yeah.
we follow that rabbit hole that Jett is graciously setting me up for, because it's not exactly like we haven't seen stable shard rejoining in the past. Because back in Endwalker patch content, we started the whole process with the 13th, right? And finding a way to kind of A, stabilize their overload of darkness, and B, start to kind of bridge that with light from the first. But we had a successful grafting of a decent portion of a shard to the source in the form of Alexandria in the course of Dawn Trail. And regardless of how that came about, because that was a lot of soul energy, and that has its own implications for a later expansion, probably not this one. But like, we've done it before, and people can coexist. The only reason that ended up being incredibly violent, truly, was the fact that it landed on top of an existing civilization in Yassilani, and Zeralja was out the helm of it, making it a warmongering state at that point. But like, it's been done. You could do it again, maybe not like physically grafting the worlds together. I don't think that would work geographically. I don't think that that's the safest way, but we have seen this done in the past, and I think it could be done, through trial and error, maybe less violently at some point, even on accident, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a calamity.
there's a viable theory there, I think. Like, it might not be the theory that I would choose right now, but I think there's a viable theory that we could be using kind of like that interdimensional fusion concept to kind of bring pieces over. I don't know if they'll just be like, oh yeah, all of Norvrant is now in the Pacific Ocean. You can still teleport there like before, but it's just in the Pacific Ocean now. Like, I don't know if that's what we're going to do, but I think there's a
Right.
viable theory that you could maybe kind of set up a, little bits of interdimensional fusion, little bits of natural rejoining. Eventually we'll heal. I think that could be a viable theory. It might not be the one I'd choose right now, but
Yeah, eventually we're just going to run out of land space if we do it that way. Like, I much rather like the idea of being able to open, like, gateways and stuff, but
Same.
that might also
There-
just be my Stargate brain, so...
No. I think that is the way. There is a line of Halmord in Into the Mist, I think, where she's explaining Calix how she can transport him into different shards. And it's like, okay, from this rift, I can just teleport ether from point to point that can just, materialize, but it doesn't need to materialize, right? We can just bridge ether from one point to another. And also we have the basis already narratively of just putting things from the void into the light on the first, for instance, and stuff like that, which could just balance the aether instead of the land.
We have all of the building blocks for this already, is what I'm saying. We just need to put them together in the right way. And I think the time crunch of, hey, a shard will imminently collapse if you don't figure this out immediately, is probably the right kind of push to start mentally connecting those pieces as well. Plus, then we can finally reunite your Stola with Runar, which is, the true endgame goal.
We can't do that. We'd lose so much fan base.
But it's the end of the
Crushing
game. It's
my
the end of the game.
dreams.
It's like, that is the ending. We lose everyone. It's done.
Okay. All right. So this is one thing, and I don't. Maybe and I'm thinking about this too early. I know it's going to come up in like a fan fest or something, but at the end of Endwalker, Emmett Selk was like, "Hey, there's so many places for you to explore. Have you seen this place? And have you seen this place?" And I'm like, "Where's Maricidia?" I feel like I kind of feel like that we're going to another shard before we do more stuff with our little shard, right? Our piece of it. Why don't we just like go there? I have a feeling it's gonna come up in like the next version of the trailer. We'll see dragons and stuff, and it'll be a big deal. And that will be the other side of the expansion. We have a big frost area, then we have dragons. Then we're just Heavensward again.
We can fantasy book it right now. Like that's the second half of the trailer. We switch over. A little bit of Garlemald, a little bit of Maricidia, Blitzball.
Yeah, no, it's snowboarding. We're snowboarding. Gold Saucer snowboarding is the thing that they're putting in. Blitzball's done. They don't want to waste any more brain power, I think, on that one. But yeah, man, they really gotta. They keep saying they're gonna do stuff with Gold Saucer.
They did say something very specific about Gold Saucer during FanFest.
I can't remember.
They were gonna
yeah, go ahead.
put something extra on Gold Saucer. I can't remember if they hinted Chocobo racing.
They
said they were gonna add stuff with the Gold Saucer for Evercold.
There's so much. Please, you know what? Square Enix, you want to hire me just to work on Chocobo racing so I can get it back to like being productive and going forward with the key aspect of Final Fantasy 14 and building on Chocobo racing? It would be great because it's been since A Realm Reborn. All right, so I don't know what else to say.
Dude, you could have a Chocobo derby.
Yeah.
What? Say that. What'd you say?
I was gonna say the longing in your eyes when you started thinking about that was very tangible.
Because it's so abandoned. It's like the big thing you get excited for when you go to a Final Fantasy MMO. You're like, oh, how are they going to do Chocobo racing? Well, the static mode that hasn't been updated in a decade. It's there. Here you go. Enjoy it. I mean, of course, they've had little updates and stuff, but they haven't like put effort into it. It's okay. Maybe they are. I'm just gonna gripe about it until I see it though. And snowboarding. I want to see snowboarding finally. Final Fantasy VII, the third version, is going to come out. It's going to have snowboarding in it. Around the same time, we'll get snowboarding in Final Fantasy 14, and it'll be a perfect lineup for it. So probably 8.5 is what I'm expecting. Anyways, Frosty predictions. While we're talking about our new friend who is telling us all about the Winterers and everything, was Emmett Selk a Winterer? Was that like the assumption or no? This guy was left out.
Unrelated.
Completely unrelated, rejoining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was to make a comparison, I would say the Winterers are the new Ascians and Halmarit is the new Elidibus. Like, these are her conspirators. She has deliberately sought out people on the worlds who have an ambition that will resonate with her narrative. So she's telling people about the solstice and the existence of the other shards and recruiting the people who have some plan that's going to enable her to do what she wants. So look at Calyx. Like, Calyx was one of the perfect recruits for this because he was amenable to the truth about the solstice, and his ambition was what was going to make it so easy to rejoin later, where you have like everything that went down with preservation could have been used by Halmarit in some way in support of trying to survive the solstice. Allegedly, right? So the other Winterers are similar people. They have their own ambition, and they will do something that is useful to her if she tells them what's going on and recruits them to her cause. But what Calyx has led us to believe is they don't all agree on what that ambition is, and they don't all like each other very much. So I think that's what's going to be big with the Winterers.
Okay.
They all have their own goals, and like from both of their perspectives, yeah, it's all like grand machinations and stuff, but they are partially selfish in it. Because Calyx's whole thing was, oh, I'm going to get rid of the concept of death. Well, in doing so, it would just be uploading memories into a huge database without souls. And the reason that that kind of worked for what Halmerit was doing was she's like, oh, I'm trying to cause a rejoining. He'll help me do that because we are technically killing people, and that can be calamitous enough in order to kind of go forward with one of the more, like, violent rejoinings, right? Even though they're perceiving it in different ways. Because Calix's goal, although misguided and incredibly, like, tangibly difficult to grasp emotionally, was to save people from their own fear of death. He just did it in a really manipulative way, and we don't agree with what his concept of, like, being alive is, right? To that end, I think that's also why he approaches us at the end of 7.5, because without the capacity to upload people, he is still Halmerit's ally because he joined the Winterers, but his own goal is now a moot point. He can't save his people anymore because the infrastructure for that has been, like, completely taken away from him. So he doesn't necessarily agree with the idea that there needs to be needless destruction from his perception or what Halmerit would perceive relative to what we perceive that way. So
is Halmerit, like, from a shard too, is our assumption, or just a leader of the Winterers?
She would have had to come from a shard originally and received a convocation stone and then gone loose. Kind of the same way Fandaniel was. Because he was an Ascian, and then all the Unsundered were gone, and he kind of started doing his own thing. Like, he was let off the leash, right? So we're assuming the same is true for Halmerit, because there's no other way she would have that glyph. Unless she also escaped the Sundering, which I don't think is the case, knowing what we know about how that happened.
Why is Calix still alive?
We don't know.
There's like no reason for this guy anymore, right? For the Winterers, for like any, all right?
I would throw out, like, just the fact there are a couple of things we just don't know, where if we knew those things, we could make some very precise guesses. But without those things, aimless, in the dark. So, like, let's talk about Halmerit's origin, right? We have two big hints there. A lot of people look at her outfit and listen to her accent and think, like, oh, there's something a little Nordic about that, maybe. Maybe that has a hint that her history is actually on the fourth, right? So there are some people who think that. But you can also look at the lines where Calix says, like, what are you doing wearing that outfit? That looks like the Treno from when I was alive. You're seriously out of date for someone who wants to be in disguise. So, you know, who's to say she wasn't from the ninth yet? So, like, there's competing theories there. And then, as Em was saying, you have the layer of, at some point, she was recruited into the Ascians. She was raised up to be the Sundered Halmerit. So the question is, did she ever internalize the identity of Halmerit, or is she always rogue like Fandaniel? So Fandaniel tells you, like, I never internalized that identity. I was never pro-Zodiarch. I was always doing my own thing. And that's kind of what makes him so scary, is he was Amon the entire time. Very fun there. But what was Halmerit? Was Halmerit ever... Like, we had the theory a long time ago that maybe if you accept your identity, you're back into the tempered state, right? So if that happened, did the destruction of Zodiarch free her from that? Was there a time that she was pro-Plan and now she's not Plan? Or was there always just, well, I'll follow Elidibus because, you know, he's more powerful than me and now I'm stuck here. But for the last 1,000 years, she's been thinking, like, what the hell did I get myself into? Like, we just don't know.
Okay.
There's nothing saying that they couldn't ascend somebody to an Ascian seat from another shard. It just makes sense that they would pick a most rejoined person and therefore someone from the source. But it is entirely possible, like a lot of folks have speculated, is, oh, well, maybe it was a soul from the ninth that was ascended to this seat using one of those memory stones, right? But likewise, those stones don't overwrite your identity, and they weren't even a complete memory of who those people were, right? So even the ones who were incredibly aligned, like Nabrialis and Igiorum, they were absolutely devoted to the whole Zodiarch agenda, right? what we know from short stories is that Igiorum was like a very well-tempered and passionate person in ancient society. Well, her hot-headedness, as someone ascended to the seat after the Sundering, is why the 13th is a void, because she like jumped the gun a little bit too fast on the ether overload there. So even when they are aligned, they aren't the same person, right? Pieces of the shard remain.
Okay.
And there's even some variability there when you talk to Emmett Selk about it in Shadowbringers. There's like optional dialogue. Every time he's standing around, you can go ask him a few questions, and he tells you like a little bit about Almarad or a little bit about Ascians. And he's the one who introduced all this lore, because beforehand the game made it sound a lot like if you take out an Ascian, you've taken out an Ascian, right? But he explained that there was a lot of changes of the guard over the years. He explained that you can actually raise someone to their office who isn't even a shard of that person. They don't do it very often because they're unreliable, but you could, in theory, do it. And one of the lines that he uses, depending on what language you're reading, is that the sundered souls of the people who summoned Zodiark have an indelible claim on their souls, a corruption on their souls, a taint on their souls, a weight on it really depends on what language you use and what word you want to use. But because Zodiark is written on their souls, they make for the truest servants. So they tend to seek those out. And when a Sundered dies, he's just like, well, one down, but we got lots of options over there.
Okay.
So you never know what SE's going to choose.
Whatever makes sense. Go ahead.
To bring it back to your question about Calyx, though, because I realized that was a tangent.
It's okay. It's all right.
One option I would like to present, mostly because I think it's funny and I like these characters and I want to keep them around. Maybe Halmer just thought Calyx was neat. Like, they clearly have a rapport, and she likes having, like, a rubber ducky that she can, like, monologue at and kind of, like, talk through ideas about. So maybe that's why she stuffed him into, like, a cute little squirrel mascot. And
there were so many squeaky toy noises throughout these cutscenes, and it was just, it felt like they just, like, got that noise, and they were like, I'm gonna put it everywhere I can. Every little moment that I can make something squeak, I'm gonna make it squeak. And they did it to one of the worst villains, right? This guy was horrible for a lot of stuff that he was doing, and we were like, we hate this guy. Okay, make him a squeaky toy now, and that's funny. Haha, guys. I'm like, no, I don't want him around anymore.
Well, it's funny because that does make it a deliberate choice. It's in the game now, and that means that by putting it in the game and saying Halmerit made this vessel for him, Halmerit made that decision to put a squeaker inside of the toy. And I think that that's such a fun, like, little personality inside of, oh, she probably thought this was funny too, or she knew this would annoy Calyx because, like, they don't have to be friends, right? Mm-hmm. But she's keeping him around. She might as well also torture him with a squeaker toy. Like, it's stuff like that that really brings the characters.
I just had a visual in my head, and so
oh God, what are you doing?
I gotta get your other image on this up for it though. So the screen's gonna get weird for a second. Well, for you guys, not for everybody else, just for you. And because you wanted to talk about this too, and I'm not really sure. This is kind of probably a derail a little bit. But let me go ahead and just get it up. Is that pretty centered in line? That's pretty good. So let's bring it up. Boom. There's a wolf on here. It looks like you said, from Dark Souls or Elden Ring. That apparently it was going to be part of it. Do you want to talk about this, Em?
Yeah.
Why? I gotta fix that graphic a little bit, but go ahead.
Sure. This is definitely a tangent. So this is where we start the Nordic stuff. I could see Jett laughing at a corner over there. Truly. But we know that is kind of the inspiration that we have going into the fourth as far as bringing in real world cultures this time around. And I've seen a lot of folks in chat start talking about this, like Ratatasker being symbology for the squirrel they put Calyx in. Talking about the solstice in and of itself, mentions of Ragnarok. All of that is connected because how do I phrase this? Because there's very different versions of Nordic lore, folklore, I should say. And the one that I grew up on was generational stories passed down, like the ancestral like kinds of stories. And the version of Ragnarok I am most familiar with is one where Fenris, one of Loki's children, swallows Odin whole and blots out the sun, creating the longest night, and thus the solstice was originally created. And those are a lot of things that just kind of align. The thing that made me lose my marbles about this wolf specifically is that Fenris, when he was born, was fettered in shackles that were said to be unbreakable, and he is eventually released. And that conflict is what ends the world. There are shackles. There sure are shackles with the specific kind of scroll work that you see on stones associated with carvings for these myths. There's so much attention to detail here that is very cool. But I think we're probably going to be seeing a lot of those Nordic ideas around Ragnarok, with this just being one of many examples leading into the solstice, because Sol is the constellation of Asm, and that is, you know, kind of our gateway to all of these things. We're seeing their presence more tangibly than we have in the past. All of the Evercold art that we've seen so far has also evoked the World Eater serpent Jormungandr. This is a rendition of Fenris Ulven, which has been called Fenrir for most English translations used. I'm making a distinction here so that it's clear that it's not the Fenrir of the source. They're probably going to call it some completely different other thing, but that's why I said Fenris instead. Yeah, a lot of this ties together, and I'm excited to see how it gets interpreted.
You know, do you think that there's a kind of a tangent thing? Like, every expansion, they're trying to build up the story, and they're like, all right, you guys, go take a vacation over in this area for a while. Hang out there and just kind of absorb the area, and so we can figure out our next theming, you know? I would like to ask them if they do something like that. I'm probably not, because that would have been really weird for when they were designing the first raid boss of this recent tier, if they sent Koji somewhere to learn about it. But I think you just Wikipedia it. That joke has a couple of layers, and the people who will get it, and I'm okay with it.
I didn't get it at all.
Don't worry. Jett, did you get what? Yeah, okay, good. We're there. But the wolf in question here, I think lines up literally with everything you said. It just looks like a really cool wolf to me at the moment. So I guess it doubles both perspectives there. And the imagery that I had is Calyx getting bitten and chewed up like a chew toy by this guy.
That was the tie-in. I was like, how did that inspire you?
You're wondering where that tie-in came in, and just hearing the squeaky noise the whole time while he's like, and he's like, ah.
Throw all of my rambling that I just said out the window. My new lore theory is the wolf is going to chew on Calyx.
It needs the chew toy. Maybe that was the whole thing. That's why he's still around. You know?
Wait, don't move. I actually had a sincere answer for you, and I can give it to you now that we've come back around.
All right.
I have a sincere answer, I think, for why is Calyx still here. I believe that he's still relevant to the plot. I think he's going to throw us a wild card. In 7.5, he came to us alone. He told us where Halmrut was going. He said that he doesn't agree with some of the other Winterers. He said that they're kind of on a tour of the other worlds, checking in on the other Winterers. But on the 4th, there's a plot that's about to go into motion. He wants to be there to observe it. He told us where they were going for a reason. He told us he doesn't always agree with them for a reason. He's gonna throw someone under the bus. Possibly still us, possibly Halmrut, possibly the other Winterer. We'll see. But I think that's why he's still in the plot, is because he's gonna throw someone under the bus.
Doesn't everybody know that, though? Like, the Winterers have to be like, hey, this
them? Maybe not them.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing, because we operate on the base that we only have one Asian behind the Winterers. There could be more than one, and this could be like, you know, someone advising Calix to do this instead of him machinating this entire plot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and
Okay.
there are possibilities. They should know, but also they shouldn't know.
Yeah.
Halmarit treated him like his role was over. Like, Halmarit might not be, destroying him. She might still be carrying around, but she stuffed him in a chew toy and said, look, you didn't stop the Warrior of Light. Your world's lost. We're moving on.
I mean, see, that's the other thing. So there's a couple of these that are lost, right, in the cause of all of this stuff. How does her rejoining work? Them being lost, okay? Or does she gonna do it back to the ninth and try to figure it out something to make it work with the way that she wants to do the rejoining? Like, what's the plan?
My guess is that she still plans on going back to the ninth and figuring out how to rejoin it. But right now, there's another Winterer plot in motion, and she's got to focus on that.
Okay. And it's the
My
Borf
guess.
is the one that's in motion. Okay.
That's my guess.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to the shards and the splitting and everything, because this is the big topic of everything. We had a dialogue that literally pinpointed, hey, did Vanat know or Heidelin know that this was a effect of the breaking and destroying everything? Is that something? And we had a sort of just a thought-provoking question, I guess, from that, right? But nothing more into it. Why are you guys laughing at me?
I think Moose just took psychic damage from knowing how I feel about this.
Because I saw the finger tenting, and I was like, that's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. M has to speak first. M has to speak longest. This is gonna be good.
No,
Yeah, okay.
no. I've talked
Yes.
too much. No.
Nope.
Oh, we don't have to force him to do it. But that's okay. Moose, do you want to give your thoughts and then M can respond off your thoughts about this?
Sure. You know what? I
Okay.
will get the boring buzzkill guy out of the way, and then we just unleash M. This is gonna be way
Okay.
better.
Okay.
My first instinct is that if it was going to be a big point that Vanan knew, it would have been a bigger point that the Lobrits didn't know. It would have been a bigger point that the Watcher didn't know. They were prepared for what they were meant to be prepared for. And we are told that Vana prepared them for the possibility, the contingency, that her strength faltered in the face of the Asians, that this tenuous grip she had on sustaining her plan would falter unexpectedly, and they would have to go into contingency mode. That's all the Lobrits know. That's all the Watcher knows. So can we subvert that entirely and have her know everything without kind of changing the past? I'm not sure we can unless we introduce that she just knew something else was taking care of that. So maybe let's go into crazy mode for a minute. Maybe Vana told Azem what we told her, and this is Azem's plan for what comes after that plan. So she just didn't say anything to anyone because that's Azem's plan, right? That's my crazy version. But I feel like, narratively speaking, it's not going to end up mattering too much what she knew and when. But maybe.
Do you think it's going to be one of those things where they just say, we don't know?
I think the writing is just going to write us out of needing to know.
Yeah,
Okay.
the only way that it makes sense, like for us to know, if for whatever reason the Asians wants to bring her back instead of doing the rejoining, and then it changes the narrative entirely on how we see her. But I don't think that it shouldn't. It's just food for thought. It's just have fun with the idea. Make them go crazy.
All right.
That's it.
Well, the thing is, my answer is that it doesn't actually matter because these are
Okay.
still the consequences of her actions. And the reason I say that is normally when we get these kinds of choices, we get a dialogue answer that is neutral, and we get a dialogue answer that is a little harsh, and then maybe a funny one. We only got two here, and it was a yes or no, both of them a little bit positive towards her. And that, you didn't get an option of, oh, maybe she didn't know, ... It was maybe she didn't know, comma, and then like a little bit of an affirmation. I can't remember exactly what it was.
It was like maybe she trusted us to figure it out.
Yeah,
that was the thing.
that was such a specific kind of choice there, because functionally we're not playing a visual novel, right? Like the story is the story regardless of our dialogue option, but we at least usually get some autonomy with our wool to remain neutral. In this case, it's just a yes or no. So narratively, I don't think it's going to matter, because I don't think we're meant to really find out, at least not yet. Because the only way we can find out is, you know, if it was something that Asm was doing, like Moose proposed, because we know that they were off during the final days, but they didn't heed Vanna's call for Hydaelyn. They didn't agree with the Hydaelyn plan like they didn't agree with the Zodiark plan. Vanna was actually kind of disappointed that her solution wasn't chosen. But I think that there was an understanding there specifically of, oh, this will also not work in the long run because it's going to cause this kind of calamitous effect. So my thinking is less, did Vanna know? Either she did or she didn't care because there was a more immediate threat, or she didn't know and she should have understood a little bit more about what she was doing before she performed a sundering, right? There are no, like, heroes here. I think the better question is, did Asm know?
Okay.
And I think that should scare people.
Okay. Asm's a good guy. We're Asm. We're good guys. It's fine. It doesn't matter. We don't need to be scared of ourselves. But the thing is...
There's some factions on that one.
This Vanat. Okay. So the way that I was thinking about this for a little bit, and at first I was like, yeah, it's kind of crappy, you know, that we weren't told about this stuff. But okay, so if Vanat didn't do the sundering, what would have happened?
We'll never know.
Okay.
If Vanna didn't do the sundering,
Yeah.
we can only talk about probabilities. And I think everybody disagrees on the probabilities. If you were to ask me and invite me to get dogpiled about how wrong I am, I would say the probabilities are, if the sundering never happened, you still have the convocation is tempered and everybody believes in Zodiark. So you have this setup where the idea with the most momentum is that they're just going to keep sacrificing people, more and more people, to go back to what they believe is the starting point. Everything needs to be undone. They never accept suffering. They're going to try to get back to the starting point. And even if they succeed, the end singer just wipes them out because they've forgotten about that threat, right? So I don't think there's any ending that it doesn't end with the end singer wiping them out. But I think a lot of people have very different opinions about how long it would have taken them, you know, how much they were being influenced by what factors. I think a lot of people have different opinions about that.
Okay, well, let's just assume the world's over if she didn't do it, right? Let's just say, hey, it's like apocalypse. Okay, handles that.
And it does endorse that idea.
Right. Handles that with this thing that hopefully saves everyone, tries to stabilize it, thousands of years, right? Sort of stabilized. Do they need to look past that? I mean, that becomes like a thing, like, you just save it while you can and have the effect that you can, and then other people can do that later, save what they can, and keep moving forward. Like, we can do stuff to save, like, outside of the game. In the world, we do things to save the world, right? Do things to get better. But only until the next moment where someone needs to fix the other stuff. And some of those things could be possible because of the shit that we did. So it's like this thing that just has to keep going. So it's not a big deal if she knew or didn't know. Just made a choice that seemed right in the moment. And then down the line, other people have to handle that. It was pretty good because there's a good amount of time that we stabilized, I guess. It's just a weird world, I guess. I guess it also depends on your opinion on splitting everybody into 14 shards and how, if that's actually saving people, or what you could really say about that. But yeah.
Therein lies the crux of it, right? Because the intent of Zodiark was to save its people, and he succeeded in that temporarily. And the purpose of the Sundering was to kind of freeze that state and allow life to continue in order to find a better solution in the long term. Neither of those was like perfect decision making situations, right? Like neither of those is the ideal solution. There is, if we go beyond, if we go all the way back and we think about the actual problem of the Endsinger in the final days, Moose was talking about probabilities. There's also the probability that, okay, what if they had figured out what the actual problem was and dealt with that, rather than going the whole, like, sacrificing people to summon creations akin to gods route, then we wouldn't even have needed to do the sundering in the first place. That doesn't solve societal stagnation, right? But at least like it wouldn't be a collapse of society that would have to be rebuilt instead, because that's also not good. So in terms of speculation in that route, yeah, you're entirely right, Frosty. It was one of those things where all the ancients made bad decisions, and they recognized that, and they handed that mantle over to us, who finally took care of the Endsinger problem. But that means we're also left with the cleanup of those bad decision-making situations, and that is just the fact that physics is going haywire for the shards. It's
And we wouldn't
additional
have that
consequences for it.
Sorry, yeah, we wouldn't have had that choice if the sundering never happened, right? So it's just like, it's not a, I don't know, I don't see it as a bad thing that we have to deal with this now, and we're like, hey, F you, but not, what the hell? Why didn't you say something?
Yeah,
But
and it's the thing of, like, what she knew or didn't know doesn't matter. We're still dealing with the consequences, and that was her intent. Like, that's why it happened that way.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of circling the same drain here. Like the idea the game is going for is kind of, look, either her existence as light precluded her from noticing because it kept the shards separate, or over time she did notice and did know and chose not to say anything. And either way, it would be us cleaning up what comes next, possibly with a Zem as part of that, as it looks like. And yeah, Zodiark was salvation. And based on the concept that he was built on and the way he was summoned, he became a very rigid idea of salvation with a very rigid plan that no one can deviate from. I think, like, if in my reading of it, I see Zodiark as originally a temporary, desperate measure. And Emmett Selk says this, that very ominous line that we choose, each of us, whether we're going to, take it for granted or challenge it somewhat. He says that Zodiark claimed their souls and they exist solely to spread his darkness. So it's like, again, depending on the language you read, but I read him as a temporary, desperate measure that became the permanent first solution for everything. And what do you do in that scenario when the thing that was this desperate temporary idea becomes the only thing anybody thinks is viable?
Okay. All right, so we got a little bit more time. We got like, I feel like there's a hand. I've been jumping around all over the fucking place. I'm sorry, but are there any key aspects that we haven't talked about that's just like aching that you guys want to dive into before I start asking some more frosty questions? No.
Honestly, I think we've
Possibly.
covered like the basics of a lot of the core things people should keep in mind. I know a lot of this has been physics discussion, but that is the best language that we have to talk about what's happening in the world right now. Yeah.
Okay. This is gonna sound like out of nowhere then. All right, you guys. Is Heidelin in the ether with everybody else in a way? Like, do we like
No.
No? Okay. Go ahead.
We have an answer to this, actually.
All right. Thank you.
Because at the end of Endwalker, we talk about returning to the star as everything, right? And we understand that as souls going to the life stream to begin the process of, like, rebirth, right? Because souls are essentially getting recycled into new people. According to game canon, that is what we understand happened to every ancient at the end of Endwalker. We have a specific developer interview, which we have to take with it. Moose knows where I'm going. We have to take it with a grain of salt because it's not actually written down anywhere and it's not in the game yet. So they can always retcon this. But the understanding that we have is that Vanna's soul dissipated. Like, actually dissipated with the force of energy it took for her one, like, final moment. Her final act of support to you. So that is, she is gone in every sense of the word, according to what we've been told. Now, again, caveat of this was a developer interview from a few years ago, and they could maybe just have changed their minds. But at the moment, she is more dead than any other dead person in FF14. Because her soul isn't in the live stream. It's just gone.
So there's no like connection to the live stream to try to find information and hear, think, feel kind of stuff anymore. That's kind of over, right?
SE loves exceptions, so they could. They are so the way they make it sound like her soul is gone, dissolved. Whatever energy was making up, it has been transformed and turned into something else, and it has rejoined. I guess what we would call the greater flow. Medion makes a reference to the greater flow, or bigger flow. I call it the greater flow, but. They also like playing around with the idea of memories. So if there is anybody else that remembers her, or memories that she was a part of, or ether that has memories of her imprinted on it, they could maybe make some kind of conceptual shade somehow. Like Elidibus said that Elidibus said that he consumed everything that was left to send us places, and he shows up in Pandemonium on the wrong planet. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is what I want to do real quick. It's going to take me a second to do it. But I actually am interested. Do they have the... Sorry, this is going to seem out of left field. Do they have the media site for Evercold up? So I could pull some images there.
Yeah, it's the North American Square Enix Press.
North American Square Enix Press. Let's see if they actually... Evercold assets. Yes. All right, so I think I found it. I'm gonna ask some questions. One is who you think this person is. Okay. So hold on one second. It's going to get weird. You're going to see who it is before everyone else. Sorry, I can't be perfect with this. I got to figure out a better system for it, but I'll get it. Right here, boom. Okay, why? Already. All right, there you go. Who is this, Moose?
Okay, wait, no, I'm not going.
Who is this?
I don't have an answer for you.
No idea. Nope.
So this is a pivotal character.
I don't have a specific answer, but like Square Enix likes to shake things up. They don't like things to look too similar. They like to use a large diversity of things, and there's a lot in there that just looks familiar. Just
okay.
I
mean, it's Dragonborn in a way.
I was gonna be crazy.
Not Aura.
It looks.
Get there.
It looks a little. Yeah. It looks a little too much like Helmut for my liking. That's all I'm gonna say.
Can we assume then that's where she's from? Is the 4th? Okay.
Or she gets an outfit change at the start of Evercold. It wouldn't be the first time that an Ascian did that to us.
Okay, all right.
It's you know what we're gonna get the next trailer and the hood is gonna come off and it's just gonna be immediately obvious.
This is one of those times where like I want to go like even farther than M would go, but I have to restrain myself because I know that I'm going to come back and watch this video like, you dumbass.
Do it. Let's do it. Just do it.
All my speculation is evidence-based. I got nothing here. I'm going to be honest, when I saw her, because I play an Aura, right? I was like, wow, they have the hood going behind the horns, so it's not clipping through. We do have the technology for that.
I mean,
that's where I was at.
I'm going through like multiple screenshots here. Hold on, let me. I could probably just do this live, and it won't be too crappy when I do it. Let's just do this, because I mean they're all basically the same size now. So if we're looking at this, okay. Child is Aura, okay, and then we look at this one, which is the other big character. Is this the right one? Yeah. This really feels like Heaven's Ward, does it not?
Is it just the snow?
It's the snow, and that's when Aura was introduced to the game, right? As a character you could play.
That was before
Yeah.
my time, man.
Yeah.
No, it was because at the time, at the time, it was this whole thing. Like, they are introducing the Draconic Demi Beastmen at the same time we're doing the Fuck Dragons expansion. So it was like they were worried about alienating people right off the bat, and they had this whole thing about how they're not dragons, they're not draconic. We're gonna stop using that word. So now they're like, they're a little Lizzie, they're a little demonic. They're, we're not gonna call them draconic anymore, because there were people who were speculating that like this was a race of people that was descended from the Mericidian dragons. Like they were connecting like the Dawn Worm and the Dusk Worm to the two races, and it got intense. So yeah, it was Heaven's Word.
This one is fun though, because this is, some folks in chat are also pointing this out, but this is more of that like Nordic symbology you can see on the clasp on the cloak with the single glowing eye. These are also not our standard horn features that we get on this type of Aura horn, which is kind of exciting because maybe Aura customization is all that's being hinted at here, or maybe it is something that we should be reading into. We just don't know yet. But I do like that we're getting these in like higher def as well, but that's also less lore and more selfishly I play Aura, and I like that. So
Okay. I think I got a lot of pictures to go through now.
I'm proud of you.
All right. So I'm just gonna pull them up, and you guys tell me your comments on it. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna start with this one. Any comments on this one? This architecture or anything about it stand out?
All I can say is I'm gonna continue like harping on the Nordic thing because it's very much there. Yeah.
City one entrance.
Only one entrance? Is that what you said?
Oh, no. You go, Jett.
I was gonna say this one is one of the pictures that remind me a lot of Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
I can't remember the place on 16, but it's the empire that is defeating or that is fighting against the main forces in the game. It looks similar to that.
Okay.
Just gonna say that.
Fair. All right.
My only comment on that one
fun?
was City 1 entrance. That's all I got for that one. The entrance of
What
City
entrance?
number 1.
I remember watching this, and the first thing I thought was, "Oh, Evangelions." No, it cannot be. So, yeah.
What the hell is it? Somebody tell me.
For me, it also speaks like these giant animals that are roaming the Evercold or the fort. They look a lot or scream a lot to me like the scene from Final Fantasy X. This force of nature that is just roaming in destruction, right? That is what I'm reading outside of the entrance of Crest Sky City.
Well, I mean, like, this guy's above the clouds. So, like, I guess that lines up. Is that a snake neck thing?
It is like scaled and tentacly in some way, right?
Okay, yeah.
I'm also interested if the circle above it is like an arcane glyph of some type, or if it's carrying like a flat surface on it.
It's a boss platform.
Yeah, it's
definitely
clearly
is
it's a
like a
boss
platform.
platform, but is it arcane in nature or does it have a bowl on its head?
There. Yeah, that would be fun to fight in a bowl. That'd be a new boss arena. We
Finally,
kind of
verticality.
Yeah. They didn't like that in Twitania. All right. So let me
Reintroduce it. It's time.
Go ahead, Moose.
With the exception of being way too paranoid about the aura, I think most of my things are like single sentence reactions to almost everything. So I see this, and what comes to mind is Ice Warden. Like there's Shadow of the Colossus, Ice Wardens. They're arcane, which means that we have to wonder if someone made them or they're naturally forming. And I think there's going to be one for each element, and that's all I got.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Insightful.
All right. Let's pull this one up. This just looks like a cool city. I'm assuming you guys are thinking the same.
With the
Beyond the
exception
gate?
of the fact that there's a spiral, like, in the middle part of it that looks vaguely Charlayan, but that's just me being paranoid. That's not any sort of, like, objective statement.
Okay. Moose, Jett, anything?
Inside of city number 1. Other side of that gate.
Okay.
There's a third picture. Here, I'll say this. See that, like, the light poles on either side of the swirl?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say light pole for now.
Okay. All right, I got a better one.
Friend.
Kitty.
It's a friend. What else do you need
Just,
to know?
I guess, yeah, it's just a friend. That's it. We got
Fondly
cat
friend
friends.
shaped.
What role is this? Just going to be a beast tribe? You think?
Probably.
Oh, this is marketing.
Allied society.
Allied society. Okay.
Marketing is a really good one, Jett.
It's just marketing.
Okay. All right.
It's working.
It looks really Monster Hunter-ish a lot because of the outfit. I think kind of puts me in that realm.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
The human like cat palico thing.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Okay.
make one of these a winterer, and nobody's going to suspect it. We'll be suspicious of every
If it
stranger
squeaks, it
except
lines
for
up.
the little palico.
For it.
Everyone should be
I am
wary
for
of
it.
strange cats.
No, this is a friend. What do you mean?
It is a
They can be
dwarf cat,
friend,
isn't
but
it?
you need to be wary about them.
I didn't realize it, but yeah, this is a dwarf cat because it has a beard.
It does look like they reused some of, like, the dwarf. Like, it does look like you could kind of pull off the mascot head and there'd be a dwarf.
This is the most detailed mascot head I've ever seen. This is what I wish, All right, guys, I wish this was a playable character instead of what we have currently for our cat race that we have in the game, the Makote. I'd rather this be the choice.
I thought that was going to be Hrothgar slander, but you know what? Yeah, this is fine.
No, Hrothgar, it's same thing. It's the closest we got to a really beast kind of like a playable character. But this would be fun. I would have a lot of fun playing it. All right, last one I pulled from it. I know you guys are just going to say boss arenas. The left two aren't boss arenas, I guess. Yeah.
So, just like the Ice Wardens have elements, I think these are like the elements of the zone. Like, I feel like we're kind of going around the wheel a little bit.
Okay.
I feel like
the elemental will.
I don't know if they're going to make it like an explicit thing, but implicitly it definitely feels like they tried to add a zone that was a little of each vibe. And I feel like they showed off just enough of the Colossi that you can tell there's an elemental theme to them.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, go ahead.
No, I was gonna make another comment. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say, I was gonna summarize kind of what I'm seeing here, which is a volcano pirate, lava pirate, I guess. I don't know. And then we have the blissful, peaceful water arena. And then we have Hobbit Town that got taken over by some elves who live in a nice tower. And then we have the place where they drop off. You know what? We're getting kind of close to Lord of the Rings here. Where they drop off the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there in the bottom corner. I can see it.
I was gonna say the bottom left to me feels like a shield world from Halo a little bit, with all the effect going on in the sky with the rainbow. Like, that's really intentional.
I mean, the other place that we saw rainbows in the game, and it was a really important part, was at the raid series for Shadowbringers, right? Where they were bringing back everything to life, and they had a lot of the elements combined together, which kind of lines up kind of what the Moose was saying about everyone going and have to do different elements and everything else. Maybe this is an effect of that?
Yeah, the other places we've seen it is they're also associated, like, whenever people are doing fucked up things with souls. So we also see it in Pandemonium. It's the entire arena, basically, for the fight against Athena. We see it in Ultima iconography, which is, again, messing with souls and Arasite. We see it at the end of Endwalker on our little journey home. And that is another thing that folks have been talking about. The Bifrost is a type of bridge for souls. So they're using the symbology. I don't know if it's going to be one for one, but the idea is absolutely there.
Restoring the area from the flood of light had kind of a rainbow effect to it.
Yeah.
And so this literally could be sort of the same thing, where this is an after effect of us saving a shard is going to have this rainbow shield at the top of the area after we save it, right?
It's possible. Normally
Okay.
we would.
Thank you. That's all I needed. That's good.
Yeah,
We're good.
I'm thinking about, like, would they show that in the concept art in the expansion reveal, right? Because we've had zones change on us over time, mostly like last zones, but Kalusha and Shadowbringers is an example. That's a starting zone that changes as you get to the end of the expansion, right? So the question then becomes, is this a starting state for this place, or is this something that we impact the world to have?
Or maybe this is a shard that didn't need us because they figured out the solution and we gotta go get the solution from them. Solution 10.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Someone ban Frosty from his own show.
All right, Jett, you're in charge now. You're the MogTalk intern. You're next in line.
God dang it.
Sorry, I could have said solution 6-7, but I'm not gonna do that. But this, it was good. It was good. I like it. I feel like there's some information we can get from a lot of this stuff, and it's fun to kind of talk about. I mean, this, I know I sit on the edge of, like, the sidelines of the deep lore and really just kind of look at stuff and ask these baby questions, and I appreciate you guys sitting through a lot of that with me. And I ask things that are, like, really stupid every once in a while, and you guys are like, it's okay. I get how you got there. You're actually, you know what, Frosty, you're not stupid. I understand, you know, how someone who doesn't know anything might come to that conclusion. And I appreciate it.
I choose to see Frosty as the baseline game player, which means that 50% of people at least know less than Frosty.
Yeah, I'll take it. That makes me feel better than I thought I was.
50% of humans who have heard of Final Fantasy XIV know less than Frosty, because Frosty plays the game. So I feel like we come here and we just manipulate that bubble a little bit.
It's also just nice to have a place where we can talk about this sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's fun. Even if everyone in the room is on the same page, it's just fun to talk about this thing that we like.
Yeah, it's fun. I thought this has been a fun show too for me, because, you know, I don't get a lot of moments to talk about these things in depth, and I can bring together people who actually enjoy talking about this stuff to talk about it with me, and it makes me feel pretty good because I have a lot of fun doing this. But yeah, I feel like we hit it pretty good. We got a lot of the basic things out there without diving into the deep lore, like, so far that I would not even exist anymore. I'd be like a tiny little whisper in the background every once in a while, and I feel like we had a lot of fun. But before we start getting to the sign-off point of the show, is there anything else you guys want to hit before we do that?
I think there's maybe one small thing that we glossed over that feels like a weird thing to gloss over if we're following the main threads through to the next fan fest. Are we going to talk at all about the key's name?
What was the name of it again?
Ethos.
Oh, Ethos.
Ethos.
Okay, got it.
So I just feel like it would be weird to skip the one, like, super cryptic thing they said that they want us thinking about. I'll pull it up and read it. Hold on.
Yeah, do it. Because I didn't think too much about it. Go ahead.
When it activates, The key says, well, we think it's the key. The key floats out of your shoulder's hand. The key glows brighter. You hear a voice. You kind of look at the candy in your hand for a minute. It goes away. So we think it's the key, maybe. So we get the ancient Ween voice, and it says, "Behold, the gift of ethos. Yours is a journey without end, conceived and guided by principle. Hold fast to what you must, and meet your fate without fear. Go forth, discover, unite the stars unto one, let none bar your path." And I feel like that a lot of people are going to take that a little different and have different theories as to what that means.
It means the ancients got screwed over when they got scared, so you probably shouldn't do that. They got real messed up from that. So anyways, go ahead. That's my thought.
I have no idea. I mean, I have two things that my brain goes to first is, like, as someone who speaks English, as someone who reads a lot and gets way too into lore, I hear the word ethos and this little bubble pops in my head and goes, oh, pathos and logos. And part of me is like, it's probably not in play because, yours is a journey guided by principle. Ethos means character. You're highlighting the fact that, you have a strong character. You listen to your character. You let your principles guide you. But I also imagine that anybody who was writing this would have, been looking at names for the key and thought, ethos, oh, pathos and logos. So I wonder if there's any connection we're supposed to make there. I wonder what connections we're supposed to extrapolate from the name. I don't know. I think it's interesting that an ancient voice told us its name was ethos and basically that we should go without fear because fate's got our back.
Okay.
There is additional etymology to the word ethos, which is why it got its use in the concept of ethos, pathos, and logos in writing, right? Something we are very familiar with, this dev team, like, researching for all of FF16. It's core to that tenet. But ethos, in its original meaning, was the spirit of a person. In other words, recognizing your soul. So this could also be the moment of, and this is grandstanding speculation, because we've already inherited the seed of Asm in name. This could be a moment where we actually come into that power and truth and start learning a bit more about them, because this is the first thing we've come into contact with that we can now say for certain they had a hand in making. And it not just being a story about Asm that Vanah told us, or a story about Asm that we read in a short story from Hythlodaeus' perspective, right? I think that this is more of a recognition thing. However, I'm also in the boat of, if somebody in a crystal tells you to do something, please think twice before doing it. So I'm immediately in the boat of, I don't trust this. I don't want to do a rejoining. I want to stabilize the shards where they should be. I'm not going to do what the disembodied voice is saying. And if I approach that point, I'm going to start looking for the knife appearing in my back. Because I mean,
are you not going to throw the gates wide?
No! Listen, my end game is to fight Asm to the death if I can. You all know this, okay. But that's not what's happening here. I'm just saying I don't trust the voice in the crystal. I never have and I never will. Okay.
What were you saying, Moose?
Throw wide the gates is a good comparison because I'm walking a middle line between kind of like what I think the easy to read theory is and what I think M's reading it as. I'm somewhere right in the middle. I'm pulling a little bit of each. I think this is deeply a Zem, whatever it is. Yeah. When we talk about like the crystal resonating with us, we get back to that question, that open question we have of, does the crystal only work if you're a shard of a Zem? Like, was the Alo Alo speaker a shard of a Zem? We still have that open question. Mm-hmm. If the answer is yes, it means something for the plot. If it's no, it means something for the plot. So that's kind of something I've got my eyes open for. But I read it as Square Enix messing with me, like throw wide the gates. I read it as unite the stars unto one, is they want me to think a rejoining, and I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I'm going to choose to believe that that means the connections that allow us to stabilize everything and start leading to a recovery and learn what Azem was up to and start leaving all of that in the past, clean up that loose end and move on with that story finally. And I choose to believe, for now, I do choose to believe that I can trust the crystal with some nuance, but I would be down to fight me.
It's for me, it's take that out because that's that's my grand thing down the line, and it's unrelated to this because I'm in the same boat of, we talked about this before, like the rejoining does not have to be violent. We can unite them in a way that isn't violent, right? But that is in line with what this crystal is telling us, and that makes me cautious. Like, I'm going to question it, like I question all authority. And that also kind of scares me as well, given the implications of how much did they know about this. And that opens a whole other set of can of worms that I am candidly afraid of getting answers to.
And travel?
Yeah, I don't like time travel. Put it back.
Me either.
Yeah, it's one of those things of like, this is a little bit too in line, and therefore I'm cautious of it and I don't trust it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah, I
weird for
think-
me to be so blindly trusting.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah,
like
or
a
shoes
very
in
important
reverse.
point here is that it's still an Asian artifact or an ancient artifact, and that needs to be taken care of, even if it's at Asim. Like, we navigate with the idea that he or they are like the most virtuous of them all, but we could be totally wrong. They could be like something entirely else and have an entire different plot. It's just be cautious. I agree with them. We should be cautious and not just blindly go into the portal just because it's shiny.
It's
Okay.
even
That's
if
adventure, though.
Yeah, even if Azim is a friend, you can be afraid of your friends. Some of them have rescue.
Okay. All right. Fair.
I would say, like, let's not forget, when we got to Pandemonium, what's the first thing we were told? That Elidibus is only standing there because Azem told him we'd be crashing into him. How the hell did he know that? We never got an answer to that.
They know too much.
They do.
Fair.
And I want to know, like, who told them and what they did with it. Because they could, like, it could be as easy as, you know, the Azems were close. There was a contingency plan put in place. There's layers of this plan we don't know. Azem's our friend. Fate's awesome. Or there's a layer of this where it's like, we're screwed.
Nah,
We don't
we're
know
okay.
enough.
All right. That was a good one. I didn't remember that part at all, but that's extremely important. Next time I go through the main story quest, I need to get my Google Doc up and just like every note, every little thought in my head, I'm like, what the fuck? You know, just like put all the different little thoughts in there so we can just hit that and clarify. 'Cause some things I see and I'm like, oh, well, this makes sense. Because of what Moose told me before, but I can't remember if Moose told me that out of assumption or out of fact. And so I'm like,
which thing? Crap, which thing?
I don't know. Just sometimes I go through the story and I'm like, I mix up our discussions with what's happening. It's like, oh yeah, of course this is it because this is what we talked
That's
about.
my biggest
before.
fear. That's why I start every sentence with, like, I think, my current theory is, the way I see it.
I know, but it's okay with me because I don't need the truth. I just go with my headcanon and I'm okay with it. All right, guys. I feel like we talked about a good amount. We've been almost here for about 2 hours now, and we have to do real quick. We got to summarize the show a bit for everybody who's watching this after and not watching it live. Can you guys summarize some of the things that we talked about or that viewers might want to know? And I guess I'll start with M first.
Oh man, I think the big one is we discussed a lot about shard physics and how they kind of currently fit together and the natural state of them wanting to collapse is the catalyst for where we're headed next in the story. because we want that to happen in a way that is a little bit more stable instead of being calamitous, as previous rejoinings have been.
Okay. Okay. Moose?
I'd say probably our biggest points were... Sorry, I'm just pausing for no reason. I would say our biggest points are maybe our reactions to and the possible cosmological context of everything we learned about the Fourth so far. How we think that ties into and extends from patch 7.5 content, and our guesses as to what the art means from FanFest.
Okay. Jett?
Well, we talk about also the connections between the real mythology with the Norse mythology, apart from the breaches. I interact with a moose. The first time I interact with a moose, and in real life, but by no means, and how ethos is important and how you should not trust any Asian ever.
And there's a lot of squeak toys in the game now. That's great. So yeah, there you go, guys. Enjoy. So thank you for doing that. I'll see how it works. Maybe I'll cut that piece. I like it though. I like it because of the derailing
Try again
train of
if you
MogTalk.
want.
No, it's good. It's good. That's fine. It's just going to be what it is. It's the hook. What we just said right now is either people are going to listen to it and be like, oh, I'm going to watch the show or not. It's all because of what you guys just said. So I hope you guys feel that pressure.
I do now.
I give you like blank check permission to just chop that up however you want.
Okay.
Don't give that to Jett. He's a mastermind at this sort of thing.
In benefit for Moose, I'm not in charge for that just yet.
I mean, you should be, but no, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I got it.
We're gonna load it up like, what do you think we're talking about today? How Poolsville sucks.
All right. I guess we'll go ahead and do our concluding thoughts and things that you want to say and shout outs and where people can find you and everything. And I'll let M start us off. M, if you don't mind.
It's so much pressure when you ask me to go
Okay,
first.
Jett, could you start us off? Let's do that,
sir.
Jett. Yeah.
You can find me almost anywhere under Jett_Skylar on Twitter, Twitch, Blue Sky. I don't know. There are probably other couple of places I am at that I don't check. I do a bit of PvP commentary in Spanish. I do streaming on Final Fantasy 14. I have a podcast on Mondays with Quick about the Jesting stream and Final Fantasy 14. And I'm the intern of this Lord and Savior Frosty. And we're ready for racing soon.
Don't put me in these seats of like...
I'm doing the shout out for you.
Fine. It feels a little weird, but it's fine. Moose?
I don't know if you can find me anywhere anymore.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I am on Blue Sky, Lucifer Loring-Star, LORING. I very sparingly stream new 14 content on Twitch under Onwill, ANWYLL. I pop in and out of the official forums when there are interesting discussions going on, but mostly I just hang out on Discord.
Okay. And come to MogTalk shows and, do those things.
I am honored to be invited on any MogTalk show. I will come anytime you want.
Just a reminder, we need to get a lore segment going for the world race, so I'll probably do that. I hope you like talking about Kefka. M, are you ready now?
Sure.
Okay.
I hope you like talking about Kefka. Feels like a threat, honestly.
It's a good one.
It works.
Okay.
I am Emanarum on all platforms. I post a lot about cosplay. I do a lot of in-person events upcoming. I will be at MomoCon next weekend hosting some FF14 stuff. So come find the Tyrant if you want photos, I guess. Upcoming also, we'll all be doing World Race things, and then the week after that I will be in New York for the Distant Worlds concert series featuring the one and only Nobu Uematsu. I am cosplaying to that as well. I'll be around with a few other prominent folks in the community. We're all friends. Please just come say hi in person. I promise we don't bite. Ask us a lore question. We will happily indulge. But yeah, MNRM, all places, all things Final Fantasy, cosplay, rating, lore, shouting into the ether. That's what I do.
Okay. Amazing. And as usual, by the way, thank you guys all for coming on the show. I love these shows. It always feels so comfortable. It's just a nice chill moment of I feel I'm okay being stupid with you guys. It makes me feel very good. So thank you very much. I love doing these and learning more and just having these little thought experiments. For MogTalk, everybody, I don't know if we'll do another show before the World Race. I am getting extremely busy now with it. There's a lot of stuff I have to set up, a lot of different things that have to be completely figured out within 2 weeks. So I'll be very focused on that. Follow the MogTalk tweets for Twitter, and then Blue Sky is just MogTalk. You can go find me there, and I will put any kind of updates and announcements towards shows or the race or anything else there as well. Stream-wise, Mondays, when hopefully we'll be at least get one more in, just a raid night where we fight Tyrant right now. So if you want to do that, you can come check out on Monday nights. But yeah, that's about it. Now I guess we can press the credits button. Guys, thank you so much for being here. And everybody has to wave and say bye when I do this too. Remember, be good, keep cool, stay frosty. Bye.
Bye.
Just keep doing it till we disappear.